Assalamu alaikum and a very pleasant morning when in a present here. Today I'm going to take active transport. To active transport, it's a movement of substances in a cell. Okay, to move substances against a concentration of electrochemical gradients. A cell must use energy. Okay, active transport mechanism do just this. Okay, expending energy in the form of ATP. ATP is adenosine triphosphate to maintain the right concentration of ions and molecules in living cells. In fact, cells spend much of the energy they harvest in metabolism to keep their active transport processes running. Okay, for instance, most of red blood cells energy is used to maintain internal sodium and potassium levels that differ from those of the surrounding environments. Okay, in red blood cells energy is used to maintain the internal sodium and potassium level. Okay, active transport mechanism can be divided into two categories, that is primary active transport and secondary active transport. Primary active transport directly uses source of chemical energy, example ATP, that is adenosine triphosphate, to remove molecules across a membrane against their gradients. Okay, then secondary active transport, that is co-transport, it also called co-transport. On the other hand, uses an electrochemical gradients generated by active transport as energy, so to move molecules against their gradients. It does not directly require a chemical source of energy, okay, such as ATP. Let me see what is detail about the primary active transport. The most important pumps in animal cells is the sodium potassium pump, which moves Na plus out of cells, Na sodium and K plus into them, that is potassium. Okay, because the transport process uses ATP as an energy source. ATP used as the energy. Okay, it is considered example of primary active transport. The sodium potassium pumps maintain correct concentration of Na plus and K plus in living cells. It also plays a major role in generating the voltage across the cell membrane in animals. Pumps like this, which are involves in the establishment and maintenance of membrane voltage, okay, are known as electrogenic pumps. The primary electrogenic pump in plants is one of the that pump hydrogen ions H plus rather than sodium and potassium. The sodium potassium pump cycle, it's a pump cycle. Okay, see the structure. The sodium potassium pumps transport sodium out of and potassium into the cell, a repeating cycle of conformation. Okay, conformational, the shape changes. In each cycle, 3 sodium ions exist the cell, which 2 potassium ions are enter. Okay, see the structure. This process this process take place. Okay, to begin, the pump is open to the inside of the cell. In this form, the pump really likes to bind as high affinity sodium ions and will take up 3 of them. When the sodium ions bind, they trigger the pump to hydrolyze ATP, to hydrolyze the energy. One phosphate group from ATP is attached to the pump, which is then said to be phosphorylated. That is ADP, adenosine diphosphate. Okay, it is released as a byproduct. Okay. Phosphorylation makes the pump change shape, reorienting itself. It opens towards the extracellular space. In this conformation, the pump no longer likes to bind the sodium ions, in low affinity. So the 3 sodium ions are released outside the cell. It's outward facing form. The pump switches allergens and now really likes to bind to in high affinity for potassium ions. It will bind 2 of them, and this trigger removal of the phosphate group attached to the pump. With the phosphate group, the pump will change back to its original form, opening towards the interior of the cell. Inward facing shape, the pump loses in its interest in low affinity for potassium ions. So the 2 potassium ions will be released into the cytoplasm. The pump is now back to where it was in first step. Now we see how the sodium potassium pump generates a membrane potassium. The sodium potassium pump establish a voltage across the membrane. It's tempting to simply make an argument based on stoichiometry. For every 3 ions of sodium that move out, only 2 ions of potassium move in, resulting in a more negative cell's interior. This charge ratio makes the cell's interior slightly more negative. It actually acts for only a tiny fraction of the sodium potassium pump's effects on membrane potential. The sodium potassium pumps act primarily by building up a high concentration of potassium ions inside the cells, which makes the potassium concentration gradients very steep. The gradient is steep enough that potassium ions will move out of the cell. Despite a growing negative charge on the interior, this process continues until the voltage across the membrane is large enough to counterbalance potassium's concentration gradients. At this balance point, the inside of the membrane is negative relative to the outside. This voltage will be maintained as long potassium concentration in the cell stays high, but will disappear if potassium stop being important. Secondary active transport. The electrochemical gradients set up by primary active transport store energy, which can be released as the ions move back down their gradients. Secondary active transport uses the energy stored in these gradients to move other substances against their own gradients. Example, suppose we have a high concentration of sodium ions in the extracellular space. If a road such as a channel of our carrier proteins is open, sodium ions will move down their concentration gradients and return to the interior of the cell. In secondary active transport, the movement of sodium ions down their gradients in coupled to the uphill transport of other substances by shared carrier proteins. Okay, it also co-transport. Okay, a carrier proteins sodium ions let sodium ions move down their gradients, but simultaneously brings a glucose molecule up, okay, its gradient and into the cell. The carrier protein uses the energy of the sodium gradients to drive the transport of glucose molecules. Okay. In secondary active transport, the two molecules being transported may move either in the same direction, both into the cell, in opposite direction, okay, one into and one out of the cell. When they move in the same direction, the protein that transported them called symporter. If they move in opposite direction, the protein is called antiporter. Okay, likewise, same direction it is called symporter, and if opposite direction means the antiporter. Okay, if you have any doubt, girls. Okay.